I was doing quite well this morning until the worship team started singing the song from St. Francis, and when it got to the line about where I go, my glasses got dirty. I don't know what happened.
我今天早上直到唱诗歌的时候，我有些感动，我的眼镜脏了。
And it came to pass.
那就应验了。
Do you have a favorite Bible verse?
你有没有一个你非常喜欢的经文？
Some people call it a life verse.
有人叫它是人生的经文。
I don't have one particularly, but I sign many of my emails and most of my letters with Philippians 1 verse 6.
我没有一个特别的经文，但是我在写我的 email 的时，在电邮的时候和信件的时候，我会在下面注上这一节，就是腓立比书1章6节。
Being confident of this, that he who began a good work within you will bring it to completion at the day of Jesus Christ.
我深信那在你们心里动了善功的，必成全这功，直到耶稣基督的日子。
6 months ago, when I preached my first sermon here, I mentioned that Mark Lowry likes to say that his favorite Bible verse is, "And it came to pass." Or as Grace pointed out to me last evening, when it's translated into Mandarin and back again, it comes out like these things have come true and fulfilled.
6个月前，我第一次在这里证道的时候，我曾经提过马克罗类，他说过他最喜爱的经文就是这就应验了。
Mark Lowry is probably best known for his Christmas song that he wrote entitled "Mary, Did You Know?"
马克罗类他因为他的一首圣诞歌曲《玛丽》你知道吗？这首歌而成名。
And Mark says that his favorite Bible verse, "And it came to pass," he mentioned it several times after he had his motorcycle accident and his leg was crushed.
马克在他最喜欢的经文，他一直说到这就应验了。在他经历一个非常困难的时期的时候，他在一个摩托车的车祸里断了一条腿。
And he eventually wrote it in his journal, "And it came to pass."
在他最后的日记当中，他说这事就是应验了。
Dr. Luke liked that phrase too.
路加医生他也喜欢这节经文。
He used it 40 times in his gospel.
在他的福音书里，他用了40次。
And 14 times in the book of Acts.
在使徒行传里，他用了14次。
By contrast, Mark in his gospel only uses the phrase 4 times.
马可在他的福音书里只用了4次。
For example, in Luke chapter 2, verse 15.
在路加福音第2章15节里面
We read, "And it came to pass, as the angels were gone away from into heaven, the shepherds said one to another, Let us now go even unto Bethlehem, and see this thing which has come to pass, which the Lord has made known unto us."
众天使离开他们，升天去了。牧羊的人彼此说：“我们往伯利恒去，看看所成的事，就是主所指使我们的。”
This being my last sermon with you, I thought it was appropriate that would be a theme for us together.
今天是我最后一次证道，我也想在这里用这节经文。
In fact, the first verse that we read, that Grace read for us from Luke 9 and 37, says, "And it came to pass," in the literal translation, "that on the next day when they had come down from the mountain, many people met him."
在路加福音9章37节，也有他们在旧的圣经当中，他们是在这一节是他们的开始，说到第二天他们下了山，就有许多人过去遇见耶稣。
And our scripture ended with that same phrase in Luke 9:51, when he concludes, "And it came to pass, When the time came that he should be received up, Jesus steadfastly set his face toward Jerusalem.
在路加福音9章最后一节，他也用到这一句经文，他在说到耶稣被在上升的日子将到，他就要定义向耶路撒冷去。
There is, I believe, something very settling and encouraging with that phrase, and it came to pass.
在这一节里，我相信有一个非常肯定和令人鼓舞的意思。
God is still in control.
神掌管一切。
For Peter, James, and John, it signaled coming down from the mountaintop experience and confronting life in the valley.
彼得、雅各和约翰从山顶下到山下的时候，
But confronting life with Jesus.
但是与耶稣一起下来。
I'm reminded this morning from Deuteronomy 11:11, where it says, "The land that you are going over to possess is a land of hills and valleys."
我们在这里看到生命书里面11章生命记里面11章11节说到，你们要过去得为业的那地，乃是有山有谷，雨水滋润之地。
The Christian life has its mountaintop experiences and its excruciating valleys.
在我们的生命当中，我们有高潮，也有低谷，
Faith and doubt,
有信心，也有疑惑，
victories and defeats,
我们有胜利，也有挫败，
triumphs and trials,
我们有凯旋，还有磨练，
praises and problems,
我们有赞美，也有很多问题，
joys, and I couldn't think of another word except junk.
我们也有很多喜乐，但是我们也有很多失望的事情。
Last Sunday we read in Luke chapter 9 about the splendor and the supremacy of Jesus as he was transfigured on the top of a mountain.
上个星期天，我们在路加福音9章里看到耶稣登山变相，他的荣耀。
We read about how a glimpse of glory can't keep us going.
我们看到只有一点点的荣耀就可以让我们坚持下去。
Peter wanted to turn this experience into a prolonged camping trip.
彼得想在山上扎营，想让这个经验持久下去。
But Jesus wanted his followers to know that they can't stay forever on the mountaintop.
但是耶稣让他们知道，他们不可以永远待在山上。
The air is too thin, there's not much to eat, and there's work to be done down in the valley.
那里的空气太稀薄，那里没有东西可吃，山下还有很多工要做。
If we want to share in the glory above, we must follow him into the sufferings below.
如果我们想分享他在山上的荣耀，我们就要来到山下，一起跟从他。
Almost 500 years ago, the painter Raphael captured these two truths when he showed the glory of the transfiguration in the top part of his painting, and then the suffering of the people at the bottom.
在500年前，有一个著名的画家拉斐尔，他把这两个景象完美的描述出来，就是在山上登山变相的一个荣耀，和在山下一些受苦受难的人。
Peter, James, and John sleeping on the mountaintop.
彼得、雅各和约翰他们在山上睡觉。
I think that proves they were Baptists.
那是我们是浸信会。
And down in the bottom, you can't see it too well, but the agony of the crowd as the boy is being carried by his father to the disciples who try to help him.
在山下，我们可以看到有一群受难的人，那个小男孩被污鬼附住。
The situation down in the valley is what Jesus brings Peter, James, and John.
在山下的情形，就是耶稣要把他们带到山下来。
And there are 4 things that they encounter.
但有4样东西，他们马上预见到。
First, there is the large crowd.
第一件就是一大群人。
No doubt they had enjoyed their spiritual retreat from the throngs of people, but all that changed.
他们在山上享受一个非常宁静的退休的时候，他们现在已经有改变。
A large crowd met him, Luke tells us.
就有许多人遇见耶稣。
While Peter, James, and John were up in the mountain, the other 9 were hip deep in chaos.
当彼得、雅各和约翰在山顶的时候，另外9个门徒他们在混乱当中。
And then there was all the conflict.
第二就是有许多的纷争。
Whenever you have lots of people, you've got lots of problems.
当有很多人的时候，就有很多问题。
Someone said, where 2 or 3 are gathered together, there's a conflict.
有人说到，当2、3个人在一起的时候，那就会有产生矛盾。
Mark goes into more detail in his gospel where we read that the scribes were arguing with the disciples.
马可在这里说到文士与他们争辩。
The scribes were the religious experts, and they were disputing with the disciples because the disciples couldn't help the hurting boy.
这些文士他们是宗教的领袖，他们与门徒争辩，因为他们没有办法帮助到那个男孩。
The word for arguing means to mock and to confront.
辩论在这个词的意思在这里就是嘲笑和指责。
But then in Mark 9:16, Jesus asked, "What are you arguing about with them?"
在马可福音9章16节，耶稣问道：“你们和他们辩论的是什么呢？”
Another insightful question of Jesus. He knew what they were arguing about.
这里是耶稣问了一个非常深刻的问题。
But I love how he used the question to draw the attention away from the humiliation of the disciples and put it on the compelling compassion of Jesus.
我喜欢耶稣在这里，他是怎样用这些问题，把注意力从侮辱的门徒身上转移到他自己的怜悯的身上。
The boy's desperate father explained to Jesus, "So I asked your disciples to cast it out, and they were not able."
这个男孩的父亲在这里向耶稣说道：“我求过你的门徒把鬼赶出去，他们确实不能。”
Those closest to Christ were powerless to help.
那个与耶稣非常亲近的门徒，他们没有办法帮助他。
Sometimes I wonder if people look at the church with that kind of attitude.
有时候我们在联想到我们现在的教会当中，
When we're faced with the real needs and the real problems, do people wonder why the church is so impotent and out of touch?
当人们最有需要的时候，他们会想到为什么教会无能为力去帮助他们。
Have you noticed that there are some serious conflicts going on in the world today?
当时我们也看到在这个世界上也有很多的纷争和矛盾。
As followers of Jesus, we are called to live in a world that is out of whack.
作为一个耶稣的门徒，我们被呼召去在这个世界当中做一些改变。
Is there a word that translates out of whack?
Out of whack，
Yeah.
混乱的世界。
Okay. And we are called to make a difference.
对，我们要做一些改变。
We must be the salt and light in the world.
我们要成为盐和光。
And that's not easy, is it?
这非常不容易，对不对？
Grieved by the harsh rhetoric and the inflamed attacks that satirical society and media thrust at us as Christians.
我感到很悲伤，在现今这个媒体和网络上，都有一些夸大其词，有一些花言巧语和一些煽动的言语。
There's an ugly cynicism and skepticism that is contagious in the world today.
有一些非常丑恶的愤世嫉俗，还有一些怀疑论在蔓延。
And I urge you to leave that kind of negativity on the doorstep.
我渴望你们拒这些负面的影响拒之于门外。
While that's the way that the world responds, I long for Christians to have a different response.
我渴望基督徒有一些不同的回应，当这个世界上都有一些基督徒不要随波逐流，随流。
To learn to disagree, but to do so agreeably.
我们可以不同意，但是我们要有爱心去回应。
The third thing that we notice from the passage is that lives that are in a spiritual combat.
第三点就是说，我们的生命在与属灵有征战。
The enemies of Christ are mocking followers of Christ because they are unable to help the hurting boy who is being tormented by an evil spirit.
与耶稣为敌的人，他们嘲笑耶稣的门徒，他们没有办法去帮助这个男孩。
Then there was a loss of the confidence of the dad.
第四就是我们失去信心。
He was not able to get any help from those who were closest to Jesus.
父亲没有办法得到门徒的帮助。
Even though Jesus previously, as we learn in Luke's Gospel, had given them the authority over such evil spirits.
虽然耶稣在之前都有把这个赶鬼的权柄给他们。
What sad words! I asked the disciples, and they were not able.
我求过你的门徒把鬼赶出去，他们确实不能。
But in the midst of the valley, Jesus becomes victorious.
但是在这困境当中，耶稣克服了。
But did you notice it? Before we get there, there's a note of exasperation in Jesus.
我们可以看到耶稣在这里对他的门徒有一些恼怒。
I detect that Jesus is probably looking at a particular verse in the Psalms, in Psalm 95:10, where it says, "O fatherless generation, how long am I to be with you? How long am I to bear with you?"
他引用诗篇95章10节，这又不幸又悖逆的世代啊！我在你们这里忍耐要到几时呢？
Or maybe he was even reflecting on Numbers 14:11, where it says, "How long will this people despise me?"
他这里也引用到，就说这百姓藐视我要到几时呢？
And how long will they not believe in me in spite of all the signs that I have done among them?
我在他们中间行了这一切神迹，他们还不信我，要到几时呢？
But in the midst of that exasperation comes Jesus' compassion.
但是在耶稣的生气的时候，也有他的怜悯。
Jesus says, "Bring him to me."
耶稣说：“将你的儿子带到这里来吧。”
This has the idea of carrying the boy because he was so tormented and could barely walk.
因为男孩已经被折磨到他不能行走，在这里他有就是被抬到他面前的意思。
Look at verse 42. And they brought the boy to him.
在42节说，把男孩带到我这里来。
And then the father's faith begins to grow.
然后我们看到父亲的信心增长。
Even in the carrying of the boy to Jesus, his faith begins to take root.
当他把这个男孩带到耶稣的面前的时候，他的信心增长了。
Mark says that the father cried out, "I do believe, but help my unbelief."
在这里他说孩子的父亲喊着说：“我信，但我信不足，求主帮助。”
And Jesus meets him where he is.
耶稣就在这里开始帮助他。
The man cried out, "If you can," and Jesus says, "I will."
那个父亲喊叫着说：“如果你可以帮助我。”耶稣说：“我可以帮助你。”
Final thing that the passage, I think, underscores for us again is that doubt does not disqualify us.
在这里我们看到疑惑不是说我们不等于就是我们没有资格。
Instead of throwing daggers at the doubters, Jesus encourages and pulls us forward.
耶稣没有拿着一把剑对着这个父亲，而是他用怜悯的心去对他说。
If you're having a bout with doubt this morning, Jesus will meet you more than halfway.
如果你今天有疑惑，耶稣很乐意帮助你。
On the back of the bulletin, we have the memory verse, that familiar verse from the last chapter in the book of Matthew.
我们在这后面有一个要记住的经文，就是在最后一节马太福音。
And as they come and meet Jesus on the mountainside, it says, and some doubted.
有一些人在山上遇见耶稣的时候，有很多人疑惑。
But it's significant that Jesus doesn't say, okay, you who understand, I'll give you the command and you can follow me, but for the rest of you who are doubting, just wait and wait until you get your doubts cleared up.
耶稣没有对他们说：“你们这些充满信心的人，我派你们出去。”对另外一些人说：“你们这些人就待在这里，直到你们信心完全。”
But rather he says to them all, come and go.
他对所有的人说：“来，我们去。”
Make disciples. Be my agents. Infect the world with my truth and my gospel.
去宣传我的福音。
Brothers and sisters,
弟兄姊妹们，
I'm going to miss you.
我会想念你们。
And may it come to pass
当那件事成就的时候，
that you, under Pastor Callum's new leadership, will experience some mountaintop experiences.
你们在凯伦牧师和李牧师的带领下，你们会有在享受山顶的祝福。
And may he and Lee both lead you to know the joy and the fulfillment in the nitty-gritty valley of service.
但是在现实当中，我们会有低谷，但是在当中我们也会享受到平安和喜乐。
Service for and service with King Jesus.
让我们侍奉我们的主耶稣。
Amen.
阿们。